Throughout my life, I've met many people who are dabblers in manga or anime, or maybe they're diehard fans in one manga or a few manga and anime, and it's hard for them to get into anything else. It's hard to convince them to try something else. So this video is a continuation on my series on why you should watch Toriko, and I've tried my hardest to convince individuals in person, and this is the hardest thing ever. I don't know why. Everyone just loves their own particular shows, and this has happened multiple times. They just don't have time, they just don't get it, or they'll never get to the point where it gets amazing, and I know for sure they'd really like it, but it's hard for them to get to that point because oftentimes, you know, the start of something isn't that great compared to what I'm about to talk about. So this video is going to be on why you should watch Toriko, another continuation of my series of why you should watch. And how it works is I give you a scene in the series. So yes, I do in fact spoil a scene in the series, but these videos are intended for people who wouldn't ever watch it anyways unless you really hook them in. You know the people, there's so many out there who watch only one series, whether it's Attack on Titan or DBZ or something like that, and they literally just watch that, and it's almost impossible to really convince them. Like, if you get really into it, they'll be interested enough to listen to you, but then when you ask them, hey, have you ever gotten around to it, they never have. Obviously there are a few exceptions out there, but you know, in a crowd of 100 people, it's probably 1 in 100 people. And sure, if you go to Otakon or something, that's different. But let's get started, and unfortunately I will have to spoil a good scene in the series in order to express to you how awesome this is. But again, there's so many amazing scenes in Toriko, and one of the things most people don't realize is it's not a food and cooking manga. It has food and cooking, and a lot of it is themed towards food and cooking, but it for sure is a fighting manga, and a lot of people don't realize that, or a lot of people just don't understand how awesome it will be, and it's so just frustrating. And I've given up trying to do it in person because it leads nowhere, and I'm better off trying my chances online because I can at least reach a wider audience for free. I'm not being paid. I'll never be paid by any of these manga companies who are based in Japan and only speak Japanese to ever advertise this. So Toriko, here's your free marketing, but let's just get started. It's amazing. Here's the scene, okay? And this is a very recent scene. We're talking like hundreds of chapters into the series. So there's these things called the 8 Kings. They are the strongest beasts on the entire earth, and they are so, first off, they're humongous. Like, you don't understand. Compared to the average fully grown adult human being, these beasts are enormous. Like, literally, like their feet are like one paw is hundreds, if thousands of times, definitely thousands of times bigger than a single human adult. And so they're just tremendous in size. And so literally we have Toriko, the main character there, and he has gone through all different trials and tribulations. He has literally been foe upon foe, getting to that point and upgrading his skills. And literally, like, each beast he meets is nothing compared to the kings. This was illustrated in a vignette sequence that occurred a few dozen chapters before this, where you literally see an introduction into this gourmet world, the rest of the world where Toriko has yet to venture. And so he's just entering this world, and literally the vignette starts off with a beast. It's pretty huge. It's this crazy beast, and it has a capture level. That's something to level, pretty much measure their power levels, and it's something monstrous. And you know for a fact just from that Toriko has probably never faced anything even close to this level of strength. And the vignette is very simple. You see that beast being eaten by another beast who's double that capture level. And this process continues on and on. So that beast gets destroyed by another beast. And it goes on for about 10 or so sequences until each beast has just gotten like exceptionally larger. Like literally you see one beast and all of a sudden a foot comes down that's larger than a whole beast. And it keeps going until you hit the 8 kings, which is this ridiculous, monstrous beast. And later on you learn that each of the 8 kings, whatever path it travels through, the aura it leaves behind is so strong that even 10,000 years later, the aura is indented into the ground to a point where Toriko is shaking to death just by the mere presence of that aura of a king who has passed through the area thousands of years ago. You get the idea. And so here's just the scene, okay? Toriko finds himself in a situation where his friend explains that these people, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but these people have been stealing the food that that one of these 8 heavenly kings needs. This one's a horse. It's like his name's like Pegasus or something. This monstrous devil of a horse. He's just tremendous in size. Like literally, you see like the horse, and it's this huge thing, monstrous with like, it's just really dark. Like his hair is just like flowing out, and everything's dark about him. And then you see like all these different sized horses walking around next to, like below him in the same pasture of multiple sizes, from moderate size to tiny. And then you see a little tiny speck that's Toriko standing in the ground, and he's like nothing compared to like the smallest horse there. And so he's basically, the idea is, although they're kings and they're so strong, they're still animals. And so somehow these people have stolen the food this king needs to sustain itself. And so what the village has done is, because the king is part of the ecosystem, and it in fact sort of keeps this ecosystem alive, the village has decided to sacrifice one of its members every year, one of its strong members every year, to replenish the horse's energy and keep it living. So literally this horse, if it eats, it has to eat a certain fruit, and with that fruit the horse can literally because of the strength of the horse, it can like run for 1,000 years with one single breath of air, based on one breath of air, if it has this fruit. Not because of the fruit, but because of the strength of the horse. But it needs food to survive, and that's the only thing it eats. But the point is, you know, Toriko finds himself in a situation where he literally has to stall, because basically they don't want to sacrifice this person anymore, because there's a chance that they can re-obtain this fruit. So Toriko is, you know, he's progressed tremendously over the years. This is even after a time skip. So he's ridiculously strong. But now he finds himself in a situation where he has to stall. So he's sitting there and he's literally like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because there's no way I can take this horse. Just its footprint leads on this, like, makes me like shudder and scream because of the aura it puts off. So he's like, bring it. That's just how he is. He's like, bring it. I'll stall as long as I can. And then he powers up, and he has this thing where he gives off his own aura. So he gives off this crazy like inner demon aura that he has, and he just manifests almost physically this dramatic demon that he has inside of him. That's like his inner aura. But again, it's nothing compared to the size of this horse. It's huge as well, but still not as big a size. And he uses this more as just presence, as aura presence. And so Toriko's like, he's sweating. He's looking up at this thing, and he's like, literally like, how long do you think I can stall? 10 minutes? No, 5 minutes. And this is a point in the manga. It was actually the chapter last week where we have seen so much of Toriko in terms of progress. He's literally progressed so much over the years to a point where he's like on a completely different level, like to where he was 100 chapters ago. And he's always growing and getting stronger. And so he does this thing where it's like a advanced level of a technique that we first saw. It's called nail gun. The nail gun pretty much means you punch once, and it punches a certain number of times based on your single punch. So if he does nail gun times 8, he punches once, and then the person feels 8 punches on the spot you hit. 8 equally strong punches. So it's like a nail gun. Boom, 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 boom. So now he has this, he's progressed to a state where like initially he did like a 4 times nail gun. Now he does like a 1,000 times nail gun into the ground. You see thousands of nail guns just shoot off. He punches once in the ground. It just shoots off and sends out shockwaves around the horse and him. Just completely around, like 4 or 5 circles. And then he manifests his inner demon, this dramatic demon with like white hair and long nose and a long tongue. That's his inner demon, his aura. It manifests into this form. And so he's about to fight this thing, and he's like, let's go, let's go. Come on, horse, I will hold you off as long as I can until we can reobtain this fruit for you. And the horse literally, like, it's building up, like a couple chapters of this building up. The horse, you see the horse look down at Toriko and then go like this with his nostrils. Literally just a puff of air come out of his nostrils. And then you see Toriko, and literally half of his body in a curve is gone. Like it's literally just like blood, and he's just shocked there. And I'm pretty sure any diehard Toriko fans are like, holy crap, after all the progress Toriko's made, he gets killed in one puff of this king's nostril. And you literally see like this huge crater, like 100 times Toriko, on the right side of the half that Toriko got cut off, like where there's no body anymore, it's just blood. And you see like this huge crater around him in that area, and he's just shocked there, and then he just falls to the ground. And literally then you see the horse literally just turn and start walking, because the people he was stalling for ran behind the horse to the location with the fruit. And you literally see the horse literally just look at Toriko, puff his nose, and then just turn. And that's the sort of craziness Toriko is. Ridiculous. I'm sorry if I spoiled such a great scene, but again, this is probably geared towards the audience that would never have watched anyways unless I did something like this. So thanks for watching, and if you're not someone who's not already into Toriko, please watch it. If you are, please share this with someone you think would be interested into it. And it helped my channel out if you would subscribe. That way you can watch my latest videos. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.